Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain China incursion in Manipur violence. Content for this video I given in the description. The Act East policy of India, earlier known as Look East policy, was launched in the early 90s to reach out to the neighbours of the country to its east and beyond. The development of physical connectivity and trade to boost the development of the northeast of India has been a central theme in India's Act East policy. The northeast of India, comprising 8 states Assam, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, is presently a landlocked region ensconced bearing a small section between Bhutan, China, Bangladesh, Myanmar and Nepal. India's northeast region is connected to the rest of India only by a 21 km long stretch, but shares a 5,000 km long borders with China, Myanmar, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Nepal. One of the visions under the Act East policy for the northeast of India was to turn it into an economic powerhouse which attracts investment for its growth and development. However, insurgency that has marred almost of all the states in the region has prevented the realization of such economic aspirations. These insurgencies have had backing from other countries including China, which adds on external dimensions to the problem. China is also the devil behind the current conflict in Manipur, and it intends to see the conflict spread across the northeastern states of India. China is threatened by India's Act East policy. The Act East policy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi aims to deepen India's connectivity with Southeast Asia and expand India's economic and political integration into East Asia and the Pacific through bilateral and multilateral economics and political arrangements. In order to put a spoke in India's AEP, especially the IMTT, that is India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway plans, China needs to create a conflict in the northeast states of India. China perceives that India's Act East policy and closer relation with Southeast Asian nation pose a serious threat to its ambition to establish its hegemony in the region. Hence, China would like to keep the northeast boiling so that India may be forced to divert its forces to this region. This may try to unify different insurgent groups to increase pressure on the Indian security forces with calibrated escalation. This appears to be the game plan of China. China has a history of lending support to insurgents from the northeast. China's direct support to them started when a few of the members of the Naga National Council, led by Duningalang Muvia and Dunosli M. Keiho, reached Yunnan in southwestern China in 1967 and 67. China provided military assistance to the Mizo National Front in the early 1970s and used the Kachin Independence Army in Myanmar to train the Manipur People's Liberation Army in the 1980s. Fitting into the game plan of China is the People Liberation Army, Manipur, modeled around the People's Liberation Army of China. This insurgent group intended to liberate Manipur from India. There is also the issue of China providing training to rebels of Northeast, as was recently brought to the fore by a militant of the People's Liberation Army of Manipur, an insurgent group which was involved in the ambush of the contingent of the Assam Rifles in July 2020, which left 3 Jawans dead, and in 2015 when 20 Jawans lost their lives. In 2003, PLA Manipur was suspected of being behind the unsuccessful attack on the life of the Chief Minister Ogram Ibobi Singh of Manipur on 27th July 2003. In 2009, a militant identified as Sergeant Roney of this insurgent group told his interlocutors that China People Liberation Army remains in contact with Manipur's PLA. 16 militants have come back to India after getting trained in China. Such constant Chinese support to disruptive elements in India creates an environment which is not conducive to the plans of progress for the Northeast under the Act East policy. The Chinese army is training the young recruits of the PLA. The militants sent back to India have been trained to use big weapons. The training of PLA militants also goes on continuously in Burma. There are many temporary camps in Manipur as well, such as Soi Bal Kuki and Singat. PLA Manipur wants to liberate Manipur from India because it believes that India has colonized the people of Manipur. China needs an ally in Manipur to create tensions, and PLA Manipur wants to separate Manipur from India. It's a perfect relations of convenience. China being a safe haven for rebels from the northeast is yet another point of concern for India. According to the South Asian Terrorism Portal, PLA Manipur aims to organize a revolutionary front covering the entire northeast and unite all ethnic groups including the Meiteis, Nagas, Kugis to liberate Manipur. PLA China. The PLA is also reported to have contacts with Pakistan Inter-Services Intelligence. The ISI nexus with PLA came to notice through a document recovered in January 91 from a man nicknamed German, the finance secretary of the RBF, the political wing of the PLA. A press release titled Manipur Not a Part of India, released by the Coordination Committee of Valley Militant Organization Kurkom on its official website Miyayambi Niktam Lammi on 11th August 2023 in the run up the 76th Indian Independence Day states the day 15th August has been an important day to every mainstream Indian as their Independence Day. The very theme Nation First, always first of the 76th Independence Day clearly affirms Manipur is never a part of India, which has been substantiated by the present ongoing engineered ethnic crisis in which India has taken sides. There are some very recent development in the insurgency related processes in the northeast of India which also have a China connection. Following the dilution of Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir in August 2019 by the Indian Parliament, which ended the special status of the state and created two union territory in its place, several Naga rebel cadets of the National Socialistic Council of Nagaland moved out of Nagaland into Sagaing region of Myanmar and Yunnan in China as they were fearing the same fate in Nagaland. This brings the centrality of China back into focus as a safe and trusted layer for those working against India to escape into. Moreover, though there had been some headway between New Delhi and Naga rebels with the signing of the framework agreement in 2015, no lasting resolution seems to be in sight given the continued demand for a flag and constitution and the recent demands to change the interlocutor. Terrorists based out of Myanmar and Bangladesh catched a transnational conspiracy with militant leaders in the northeast to stoke the current ethnic strife in Manipur and wage a war against India, National Investigation Agency has said. In a press statement, NIA said that Myanmar and Bangladeshi based militants had entered into conspiracy with a section of militant leaders in India to indulge in incidents of violence with an intention to drive a wedge between different ethnic groups and to wage war against the government of India. The states of Northeast India, wedged between Bangladesh, China and Myanmar, are a patchwork of ethnic groups, many of them shot through with long-standing enmities. So I request and pray for God should give the divinely wisdom to union government for maintain social harmony and law and order comes under Northeast India for development of that state by prevent from China incursions. Amen. Bible talks about China incursions in India. In Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 4, I have seen that every labor and every skill which is done is the result of rivalry between a person India and his neighbor China. This too is futility and striving after wind. Also in Proverbs chapter 17 verse 11, evil people are eager for rebellion, but they, that is insurgency groups, will be severely punished. Yes, Amen.